What's going on, 208? Look, we got two Justins going. Oh my gosh, check it out. Hey, lots to talk about today. Lots of news we're going to tackle and a mock draft. And you know what? Today we're going to allow at least two people to get into this mock draft if you're interested. Justin's going to post that in just as we get through this intro because we're starting right now. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It is a mock draft Monday, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun. And again, we have two spots open that Justin's gonna post. If you are interested in, first two get there. That's it. So, Chance, Justin, good to see you guys.
Hey,
how's everything going this evening?
Glad to be back.
Yep.
I thought for sure Chance was gonna come in like 20-30 minutes late into this mock, and I was just gonna rip him.
Oh,
he
man.
Just post my t-shirt ID for everybody to see. Great.
Hey, I just want you to know I mock draft last episode from the tractor. So like this is much nicer conditions to mock draft in.
And you proved our point, Chance, that you can draft from anywhere nowadays.
You can draft from anywhere.
It is possible.
Yep.
So, let's jump into a little bit of news. And we'll kind of kick things off with that. Here we go.
What's going on?
Justin, you want to hit us with a little bit of news?
Yeah, I don't have a ton. I know Chance and Matt both have some stuff. I just like seeing like the depth charts get released because everybody freaks out about where people are listed. But I think the most interesting one that I saw was the Jacksonville Jaguars. They listed Travis Hunter as quarterback 4 and wide receiver 2 behind Brian Thomas, of course. So again, I think people were freaking out a little bit about if Travis Hunter was going to play. I think he's going to play a lot of offense. So.
Yeah, I think some of that was a dead giveaway, even in the early OTAs, I guess, right? He just got so many reps in offense, a little bit of defense, but it's still a little bit to be determined, but he's probably going to be there number 2 in that offense for sure. Chance, you had a little bit to sprinkle in as well.
Yeah, there's just a few things. Najee Harris, who had that eye injury from the 4th of July, he's back to light walkthroughs of practice. So it's a thing that he's gearing up and ramping up, but still no real timetable for that. And then this happened yesterday. I don't know if we hit it, but Khalil Shakir has a high ankle sprain, so he is week to week as he kind of comes back. But again, we still have plenty of time. Some of these things are noteworthy. Some of them are just perk your ears up. I know Isaac Guerendo, who I only bring him up because he's could be the most important handcuff in football this year with the looming CMC, whatever happens there. But Guerendo has a shoulder injury, and he's also week to week. I think they said he's probably out 2 weeks for sure. So.
Yeah. And a side note, AJ Brown did not practice today with just a lingering hamstring injury. Nothing to worry about yet. So, well, gentlemen, let's get into it. Let's get right into what this episode is all about. We are going. It is draft time. Now, we're going to chat just a little bit because we have a couple of spots. Justin, were you able to get that posted?
Yep, I posted it right to the comments. You guys just have to copy and paste it. It should take you right to it. So,
okay. So if you get that into the comments, jump on, link in. Let's draft with us. Looks like we have 2 and 9 open in this draft. And again, Justin, would you want to explain what type of draft this is?
So I want to mix things up and see what the difference is between last time we did a 12-team mock draft. This time we're doing a 10-team, but we added a wide receiver spot. So it's always interesting to see how people value wide receiver. And I think a lot of us will have our opinion on how many wide receivers, how important wide receivers are in a league that starts 3 wide receivers, still half PPR. We're still doing just the 1 defense, no kicker. But it's always interesting to see the value of wide receiver go up and people pivot off that or not pivot off that. And then hopefully we get some good tight end drafts where we kind of talk through our tight end targets, our quarterback targets, because those are the positions that we went through in depth and kind of talk about why we want to pick this guy, why we don't. So.
Again, it is a 3 wide receiver draft that does put a little more emphasis on wide receiver. Kind of, a lot of people think that it'll kind of even out with the running back. So it'll be interesting to see how we get here. Let me pull it up while we have a little bit of time. Just we'll kind of get things going here. This is about a draft. Again, you can see 2 and 9 are available. That link has been posted in our chat. All you have to do is click on it and jump on in, and we can start drafting. We'll give it here just a few more minutes. Somebody that's interested in drafting with us. Again, as you're going, this is a mock draft. You get to try something out against other people, right? Other managers trying to build their team. So,
and I know that there are a lot of mixed opinions on mock drafts. You know, I come across this all the time with people. There are mixed opinions on mock drafts. Something, I'm just gonna send it. I like mock drafts just for the fact that I get to try stuff, right? Like if I pick this guy here, who could I end up with at another spot? That's my favorite thing. Instead of rolling that dice, you know, at my draft, it's nice to know based on tiers of guys that I believe in who's going to be where. That's my favorite thing about getting in on some of these mock drafts. So glad for everyone who, even if they don't have great opinions of the draft,
yeah,
we might have one of those.
Looks like Sam. Yeah, looks like Sam's joined us. So we are just one shy. We will wait just a couple more minutes before we get started. We do have one position open here. If you're interested in drafting with us, testing your skills against the 208 family, it'll be a lot of fun. So jump in. Don't be shy. We want to just have some fun and try to get better before these drafts start. I don't know when you guys have your draft starting. I know I already have a couple coming up here on the 16th. Just kind of garage league, good time hanging with buddies and stuff like that. So it is draft time. Justin or Chance, when you got one coming up?
There's 2 things I want to talk about real quick that we didn't get to on the news. So right after we got done with the show, I was immediately on X because it's just like out of habit. And there was a rumor it came out again on Twitter or X again today that Tyreek and Terry McLaurin were getting talked about a little bit about a swap. Dolphins getting some kind of pick in exchange because they're gonna have to pay him. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Would it just kill Terry's stock? How high would you take Tyreek with Jaden Daniels? How fun would that be? And then I want to talk a little about Jimmy Garoppolo once we're done with that conversation.
I really like that trade for both Dolphins receivers. I think Tyreek would be awesome there in Washington, and I think it would just bump Waddle up for me a lot. Like I have a hard time deciding what I think it would do for Terry, but then Jalen Waddle he's the speed guy. He can take over some of those Tyreek targets that have been so valuable the last couple of years. And I think Waddle would get a huge bump from that trade.
Matt?
I'm not as high on this trade at all. I don't really like Tyreek in Washington. I think they have a good thing going. I don't really want him to mess it up in there. He constantly complains or whatever, and he's not good in the cold. So I would rather not have him. I'd rather them leave it be. Go ahead and pay Terry. Terry's not going to get top money, unfortunately.
I don't know, Matt. Listen, I'll push back on that a little bit. I think the Dolphins aren't good in the cold. Terry played in Kansas City for years, and Kansas City is a miserable place. I don't think that ever
Yeah, we lost your audio, Chance, a little bit. You're quiet. Oh, there you kind of go. You're kind of in and out.
There you go. Now you're good.
I can kind of see that, but I just would rather. I'm just off the Tyreek train. He's been phenomenal for a long time. I just really like what they're going on in Washington. They got Deebo Samuel. Leave it with that, and we'll just kind of go from there. So that's just me, my 2 cents. I'm not taking Tyreek at all. So, thoughts on getting going here? I think I think we've waited a little bit. I think we can fire it up, Justin, and we'll go from there.
All right, Matt, you're going to be first, I guess. Matt's going to go right away. There we go.
Yeah, I think this is an easy pick for me, just being a 3 wide receiver set. I think I'm just going to go ahead and just get Jamar Chase and get him out of the way. Easily the best wide receiver right now and still entering his prime. So very simple for me to pick Jamar Chase here.
100%. I think 3 wide receivers. I think it should be mostly wide receivers. We go running back right away. Even though I'm a big Bijan lover, I don't think I would take him at the 2. I just think wide receivers are really hard. Running backs are going off the board like crazy, which should help me at the 5 spot. Oh wow! So all 3 go off. So we have Chase, Bijan, Saquon, and Gibbs.
And I'm not super surprised by that. Like in this format, it's easy to say. And Lineberry, I'll just address this while you do your pick. I think there's 2 forms. There's 2 lines of thought in this where you have 3 wide receivers. Do I get those top tier wide receivers as soon as I can? Or because wide receiver can be a deeper position, it's one that you can find scorers quite a bit later. Do you go in this one and really nail down those top tier running backs first? You know?
Yeah, Chance, I agree, and I'm gonna let Justin speak to him. I really think these first 6 picks here, you can't go wrong in this format. I liked wide receiver there because I don't think I'll be able to get who I want on the back end as wide receiver. But these first 6 picks to me are no big deal.
I feel so dirty having just got Justin Jefferson at the 6th spot. Like I feel like I did something. Like I'm like, did that really just
Illegal?
happen? Did I just
Illegal?
get Justin Jefferson there?
So I think for me, they're pretty hard to differentiate between. I just picked CD because of the injury. Justin Jefferson's hamstring scares me just a tiny bit. So I knew probably Chance was going to go Jetta right after that. Then we have St. Brown. Again, I think Chance is probably a little bit lower. I don't know if he's low on this Detroit Lions offense in general. Malik Neighbors goes pretty dang high. Then Puka. I put out a video earlier today about the Rams offense and me probably fading a little bit of it due to the Jimmy Garoppolo news. Any guys' thoughts on any of these picks or the Jimmy Garoppolo thing?
No, I think that you got to be really careful with Puka, with Devontae. Like a lot of those guys, if Stafford's injury is something that is a little more long term, you do have to be really careful with it. And I think that it would give Kyron Williams a bump, but it makes me nervous about those pass catchers. Oh,
Yeah, some. Go ahead.
I just looking at wide receivers as we come down on this. I really enjoy this tier here of your Drake, London, your Ladd McConkey, your Jackson Smith and Jigba, your Tyreek, your T, your Garrett, your Marv. You know, like you've got a good number of guys there that are like tier 1 or tier 2 guys, and then guys that, man, do you just believe in what they're going to do? I'm going to go with believe in the upside guy. Hard to quit him.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great combo. I do like him. Maybe not quite that high, but I do like him a lot this year, Chance. I think that's a very good pick. That's a pretty good stack with Jefferson and Harrison right out of the gate for your 1-2 kick and a wide receiver, 3 wide receivers team. So
I just wanted to leave Drake London for Lineberry. He's got to catch some wins. He's got to catch some W's somewhere.
Oh man, Chance is always just dogging on my team. Anyways, pick wise, Puka. Then at the turn we got Ashton Jensen, Nico Collins. I love the back end of the draft this year. It's such a fun spot to be, I feel like. And then Christian McCaffrey after that, AJ, BTJ, and then Chance goes Marvin. This is an easy pick. Chance already said it. Last week I went Brock Bowers, so this time I'm gonna switch it up again. I'm gonna value those wide receivers a little higher than probably most. I'm gonna go Drake London. He's been lighting up in camp. I think he's gonna get 150 targets minimum.
he is absolutely my favorite, and I've been screaming this from the rafters. He is my favorite. Like, if you want to call him a sleeper, to be the number 1 overall wide receiver. I really like Drake London a lot this year. We'll see if I'm right or wrong, but I like it. I do want to bring up Cody. Cody brought up, and he's on the clock right now, but he did bring up after Chase went, right, he wants to go RB, and so that's why he went and got Gibbs. Don't fault you on that pick at all, Cody. I think that's a solid pick. Some good stacks here already. And again, 10 teams. When you only have 10 teams, it tends to be a little bit more of a, right? There's more guys available. So just understand that if you're in a 10-man league or a 12-man league, and obviously if you go 14, 16, it gets a little more diluted. And you got to crush those picks early on. So
Correct. It'll be interesting to see what these running back teams do if they just double down on it and say we're just going to be really good at running back and then try to fill them in after that. I feel like that was kind of what I did in that 12-team league, just off the pivot there. So, we got Ladd. How do you guys feel about that? The Ladd and the Gibbs pick pairing together.
I like it. Ladd McConkey makes me nervous in that I struggle to see him profile as a wide receiver 1. And he was awesome last year. He was awesome for the Chargers. I think he's great. It's hard to catch lightning in a bottle with your, and this is, I don't want this to be a lazy comparison, but like your Cooper Kupps, right? Like, I just don't know how often you catch lightning in a bottle like that. And so we'll see. We'll see if Ladd can be wide receiver 1 there, or if they are going to run the ball harder than they were, if they have more weapons now with Trey Harris and
Lambert Smith, right?
Yep, Lambert Smith. You know,
that trio looks a lot better. Like their weapons last year were not good. Like Quentin Johnston, I don't think will play. I don't know. We'll see. But like that, those weapons look substantially better. Even like adding Najee, adding Amari and Hampton, like they got some dudes. And everybody underestimates their defense. Their defense was the top 10 defense. Like the AFC West it's gonna be a rough division. Like there are really good defenses there. Whether it's Kansas City, whether it's Denver, whether it's the Chargers, and like the Raiders aren't gonna get pushed around.
And it's just good coaching. Like that's like the most well coached division in football.
Yeah.
You know, you have
weird how those things correlate, right? Good teams and good coaching.
Good teams, good coaches. Yeah. All right, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm debating here on a couple. I really like Bucky here. I think he's definitely one of my top guys. So I'm gonna roll with Bucky. And now I'm kind of debating here. There's a couple options. Achan's there. Bowers, it's third down reversal if it goes. Yeah, okay, cool. So this is a good pick by Nubs, right? Because I didn't realize we were third round. I like Bowers in the third. I think that's a very good value. So I was thinking I could pick it up on the back end. I didn't want him in 2, but I like him in 3. So Nubs, great. I love your start here.
How do you feel about the Josh Allen pick at 2, and then the stack at the number 2 pick, Bijan, and Derrick Henry?
So starting with Allen, I don't mind him at 2. I think you could have got him a little bit later, but if you use your quarterback, he's easily the number 1 quarterback coming off the boards. I don't mind it at all. As far as the stack with Bijan and Henry, you are now set, right? You are locked in. You are going other positions from here on out, unless you want to take a late flyer running back later. But I like it.
Then Matt goes Jamar Chase, Bucky. Then we got Brock Bowers and Jonathan Taylor on that third round reversal.
Third round reversal always throws me, and I know that it's probably a pretty common setting for these, but I do feel like if you are joining a league that is 10 team, or if you're a commission on a league that is 10 team to me feels like small enough that you don't necessarily need that third round reversal for the benefit of those who are picking at the end. When you get into that 12 or 14 team leagues, that third round reversal really helps.
Yeah, it does. I had Chance, while you're looking this over, we have a question here. So it says, hey, I have the third pick of the draft, and assuming Bijan and Jamar Gibbs, right, are off the board, 12-man PPR league with 2 flex. I have Nico Collins as my 8th round keeper, and it's who would you pick? Who would you draft? So you are the 3rd overall pick. Bijan and Gibbs are off the board. Who do you like?
Bijan and Jamar.
Sorry, yes, Bijan and Jamar. My bad.
And he's got Nico already. Sheesh. I feel like it's got to be Gibbs or CD. That's probably my personal preference. Again, I've talked a lot about the Saquon Barkley, the carries, and how it does scare me a little bit. So I think I'd probably be between them. Since I have Nico already, I would probably go Gibbs. That's just me though. So.
Chance? Oh, you're picking.
No, and I just picked, and I do apologize. I checked out of that question real quick. For me, in that situation, Bijan Jamar off the board, and he has Nico as his 8th round. And I'd be curious here, Lineberry,
It's full PPR. I didn't realize that.
your choice of CD over Justin Jefferson. For me, it's Justin Jefferson, and I know he's dealing with a little thing, but he's still, to me, one of the greatest receivers in the game. He's not going to have Jordan Addison to compete with for those first couple of weeks. He's going to get hyper targeted, and I think that CD might have a little bit more competition than we're used to for targets, just based on George Pickens, like how George Pickens has looked at camp, how they've spoken about him at camp. I think that there might be a little bit more sharing the ball in Dallas to start the season than there will be in Minnesota. And I'm always a big fan of, I want that hot start in fantasy. I feel so much better if I can stack 4 wins in a row than, after for the first 4 weeks, I've won 1 and I've lost 3, and then I got to play catch up on the waiver or whatever. I love that early season win buffer. And I don't get it very often, but I love it when I do.
Yeah. So, Steven, here's my thoughts here. We got a couple here. So I'm okay with, you could get Gibbs, Lamb, or Jefferson, okay? So as you're going around, and you know your league mates way better than we do, circling back around, what's going to be available for you on your next pick, right? So if you take Gibbs, what wide receiver is going to be there? If you take Lamb or Jefferson, what running backs can you get there? I tend to agree with or at least Lamb or Jefferson a little more than Gibbs, although I think Gibbs is going to be a PPR monster. But coming back around, you might be able to get a Derrick Henry, a Bucky Irving, something like that. It just depends. So kind of play with it a little bit, but I certainly you got great options, if anything.
The wide receivers in the second round are substantially better than the running backs. That's just my honest opinion. There could be Drake there. You could get Marvin. You could get BTJ, AJ Brown. I think Malik Nabers was probably a second round guy. Second round running backs, again, it's probably Bucky. It's probably Derrick Henry. So.
Yep. Well, and Chase will be there too. He sometimes slips to the third, but he's kind of on that front side. So I hope that helped you, Steven. Appreciate you. That's an excellent question that a lot of people have. So great question. Justin, you want to talk about the picks here, just kind of catching us back up?
So again, we have Chase Brown at the 303, then Devon Achane, who I'm super high on. I was hoping that he would fall to me. Chance goes JSN. Again, he's really betting on upside. It seems like those wide receivers. Chance, you want to talk a little about your 3 wide receivers real quick?
I believe that JSN, there's a world where he could lead the NFL in targets this year.
100%.
I just think with what they do and don't have there, and the system that they have, he could just lead the league in targets. And so, again, he is a little more of an upside guy. I don't think there's a lot else there, though. Torrey Horton has been lighting it up at camp. I was torn between him or maybe going tight end. I just didn't love any of the running backs for what they were versus what I think I could get out of those receivers there. And JSN was the top of that list for me.
Yep, that's fair. After JSN, I went Trey McBride. You guys know how I feel about him. He's a target monster. He had 2 touchdowns that were basically an accident last year. One was a fumble recovery in the end zone. But I'm really high on that offense. I think Marvin and Trey are going to be just world eaters in that offense. I hope Kyler can at least supply that. After that, Tyreek Hill goes. Then Kyron. And then we have our second quarterback off the board in Lamar Jackson. And Matt is up with his 3rd round pick. I'm curious to see if he goes.
I'm real curious, just while Matt picks here. Team 2 and Team 3 have really bucked the wide receiver picks in this draft, right? They've both gone 2 RB and a 2 RB and a QB in there with Sam going Robinson, Henry, and then Jackson, with Newts going Barkley, Allen, and Kyron Williams. How do you feel about Justin? How do you feel about that?
Again, it's real high T, as people like to say. Like they're really
so high T.
They're really betting on later wide receivers, which is totally fine. The thing is you got to start you got to start 4 of them. Chance is really pissed off right now because Matt just took his guy 100%. But again, they're going to bet on finding wide receivers. Sam goes T. Higgins, which he's going to catch a ton of balls. And then we have Mike Evans right after that. So 2 very, very steady Eddie guys at wide receivers. T. Higgins seems to get banged up a lot. Mike Evans seems to get banged up. 2 and 3 seem like the same exact team to me right now. Matt, I love these two back-to-back picks. Like, it's like I'm going to get my onesies positions, and especially in a 10-man league, I think that's really important. So he went Jaden Daniels, which I alluded to, and then he went, I think, Chance's target in the 4th round, which was Mr. George Kittle, who I think is probably one of the biggest bargains right now in fantasy.
And I just want to say that my choice at the 305 was between JSN and George Kittle, and I went JSN hoping that George Kittle could fall a little bit. Just looking at the teams ahead of me, thinking that again in a wide receiver heavy draft, and this is just how I think. I'm thinking probably going to be more wide receivers going off for Newts and for Sam, and then Matt also only having one wide receiver. I thought there was probably a better chance that he would go wide receiver with one of those 2 picks, and then again coming back, I'd have a better chance at George Kittle. It was something I rolled the dice on, but you can't always roll the dice when you're drafting.
I think it would have worked. I wanted Jaden Daniels there just because I think he can be QB1, right? It might be a little bit early, but I didn't like anybody else kind of that was sitting there. And honestly, I was hoping Trey McBride would fall. And since how he didn't fall because Justin picked him up, I went with Kittle because he's dang near the only healthy receiving option they have. So just keeping that in mind.
I will have so many shares of George Kittle this year in my drafts. I will be Kittles and Bits. Every draft, every team name will be Kittles and Bits this year because I'm going to draft him heavy.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Chance, as you're getting it, because Kittle sometimes he gets beat up a little bit. So you pick him up as your one. What tight end are you just going to stream a tight end later, or if he gets hurt? And I know you can't predict injury, but is there somebody late you would like to be able to replace him if an injury does happen?
Oh, what a great opportunity to plug our last episode, our tight ends ranking episode, right? We're professionals here. You got to plug your old episodes. But I think about like that range that we spoke about. I would go Kittle, and then I would draft a later high upside year 1, year 2 tight end, like a Mason Taylor or a Ferguson, or like one of those guys in some of those later rounds, even a Zach Ertz, which I know Zach Ertz is kind of the same as Kittle. Could be hurt, could not. But he's had a ton of rapport with Jaden Daniels in camp recently. Like those are the kind of guys that I'm looking at in some of those later rounds. Now you got me all talking, and I need to be picking.
So I'll do the draft recap real quick. Yep.
There we go.
So again, that top of the 4th round again, I'll talk about it again. Matt started off with George Kittle. Then we have T. Higgins, Mike Evans. Garrett Wilson is an enigma to me. I think Matt and Chance know he is the enigma. At my pick, I was really between 2 guys, and I'm just going to bet on upside with running backs. So I was between Josh Jacobs, who is still on the board, and Omarion Hampton. I think the way that Najee is hurt, not playing, like they both started at ground zero when it came to going to the Chargers, and Omarion Hampton's getting everything right now. And I just think rookie running backs in the 1st round, man, like they just work.
Bet on talent, baby. Bet on talent. He is so talented.
They just don't miss. He's a freak. This Chargers offense wants to run the ball. Greg Roman is still their OC. And I'm just going to bet on him. I think he's going to be good. 1st round running backs hit. Chance, you can talk about your pick.
Yeah, I picked the most disrespected quarterback in the NFL. That's how I feel about it, man. I think that Jalen Hurts gets so disrespected when people talk about the big 4 in Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, and Burrow. It just blows my mind at the Jalen Hurts disrespect. I mean, I love him as a player, but also he just scores tutties, man. He just scores tutties.
So after Jalen Hurts, we got Josh Jacobs finally off the board. Then we have Scary Terry, Brees. This team 9 is going real high T. They got 3 running backs already. So It looks like they're going to play one at their flex. And then we have our last pick of the 4th round. Any of those picks stand out to you guys in that round 4? You think that were a steal? You think that were a reach?
I feel like Josh Jacobs, he feels like Derrick Henry did a couple years ago, right? Like, yeah, he had a good year, but when's he going to drop off? yeah, he had a good year, but wins, like that's how we draft Derrick Henry really high because now he's in Baltimore and he did some awesome things and he's too tall to ever fall off of a cliff, I guess. Like when he falls off of a cliff, it's like a little baby step with how monstrous he is as a man.
It's true.
But
Let me ask you guys.
Josh Jacobs scares me.
I do want to ask you about Terry McLaurin going in the 4.8 with him holding out, and you guys know how I feel about when players hold out. Players get hold out, they get injured. It's a good rule of thumb. At the 4.8, is that too early for you guys, or is that worth a gamble for you being that high-powered offense?
I like it. I like it where it's at there at the 4.8. There's probably going to be some touchdown regression, and we don't know what Debo's going to do there, but I just believe that Terry McLaurin is a great receiver. He's just been so consistent. He's he's not Mike Evans, but that's what he reminds me of. When you talked about your Mike Evans or your T. Higgins at the start of round 4, to me, I think Terry, you could slot him right in there as Mr. Consistent. So if you can get him at the end of round 4, I really like that pick. And then I think just with that same team, kind of as we double back and I don't know where we're at in the draft recap, but after Terry, there was Breece Hall, James Cook, Rashee Rice, Devontae Adams, and then the team that drafted Terry also drafted Chuba Hubbard. I like that as a sneaky pick, and you might be able to get him later than that, but I really like Chuba Hubbard. I think he's going to be a dog this year.
Does Rico not scare you at all?
Rico does not scare me at all.
Okay.
And
he's a 1,000-yard rusher. I'm just saying, he's a 1,000-yard rusher.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still that guy. Chances on the clock. James Conner just went. Love that pick. James Conner's consistent as can be. Super easy.
So Justin, real quick on the back end here of our Team 10. We took Cook, who is holding out. We mentioned earlier. He's holding in, right, for business. That seems to be. So he didn't practice yesterday, didn't practice today. And then you have the looming suspension with Ray Rice. So you're potentially, right, your 4 and 5 pick could hurt you, right? I don't mind the gamble a little bit, but just understand, I'm okay with taking a risk on one, but then going back to back makes me a little bit nervous. So
yeah, you're
understand where your players are.
If you're gonna take Rashee Rice, like you're gonna have to bite the bullet. Like whatever happens there, like it's gonna be tough for you either way. So just be aware of that.
This pick here scares me so much, but man, I'm actually going to pass it. I wanted to go Ken Walker here. I really want to go Ken Walker. I love who he is as an athlete. His injury stuff scares me. But then I realized I'd have 2 Seahawks on my team, and I don't love to double up. So I'm actually just going to punt running back
Give
again.
him to me. Give him to me. Heck yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. So I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm in a bet on Ken Walker. I think they want to run the ball a lot.
it's a great bet.
His injury report is so funny because like he's not injured, but he's sitting out because of injury. Like it kills me every time I read it on X. I'm like, what is going on right now? So I'm gonna bet on him. I think McDonald wants to be a team that runs the ball. Kubiak is there, Clint Kubiak, who is really good run game, really good with Joe Mixon with the Texans. I think they're gonna really force feed him the ball, whether he gets 0 yards or 2 yards. So I love my 2 running backs. I think they're really high T guys, really easy guys to bet on. So Amari Hampton, Ken Walker, that's my backfield right now. So
Nice. It's a high T. It's a high T. High risk.
Yeah,
High risk and reward.
Yeah, I like that combo. I think that is a very good combo. There could be an outside chance that Walker gets traded, right? You got to keep that in the back of your mind. I could certainly see that. But I think he would land with a team that would utilize him better. So, but I do like Ken Walker. Think if Walker went to Chicago, right? Ooh, I like that, right? So things like that.
Any teams standing out to you guys? Any of your favorites besides your own? Because I know you guys all want to say your own.
I don't love my team. I'll be honest with you.
Elaborate. Why don't you like your team?
I guess it's not that I don't love it. I feel like now as a drafter, I'm going to have to be a little bit more decisive on, like I've got my 3 wide receivers and my flex, and I like them. Right? Like I've got what I think are the wide receiver ones on their teams with either good offenses or what I believe are good quarterbacks. I like my QB. But now as I get into these next couple of rounds and those spots are filled out, now I have to start looking at my running backs and say, okay, what are running backs in some of these lower tiers that have either upside or, some more opportunities for being productive in the passing game. Like you got to look a little harder now that I've kind of punted wide receiver and I've gone that 0 RB mode. I'm the only team that doesn't have a running back so far, and that's scary. Doable, but scary.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think my favorite team right now is G's team.
Mhm.
I like the neighbors, AJ Brown, McLaurin, Chase Brown, and Hubbard. If everything pans out, assuming everybody kind of stays healthy and McLaurin doesn't hold out, I do like that team setup. It'll be interesting what quarterback he picks up and what other running back he picks up. But I certainly like that team early on, and I do like Lineberry's team quite a bit as well. I like the 2 wide receiver with a top tight end there. So
I don't want to
like
say it
their
out
team.
loud, but I like Newt's team. I don't know why. I just love Josh Allen. Mike Evans is so consistent. Chance hates Sam Laporta. He sent me a nice meme today. It was really good. But I'm high on Sam Laporta. I think he's a good player, man. Saquon's that dude. Kyron's that. I think Kyron could get a really big boost if Stafford is out. I think they'll probably lean pretty heavily on him. But I like that team. The setup wise is
Yeah, I think I'm really interested to see who Newt goes with as his second
wide receiver.
wide receiver. When I come down and I look at there's still some good wide receivers available
100%.
on this list that I'm like, one or two of these guys, and I would agree with you that I really like that team. I think it's really filled out well.
Yep. So after I took Ken Walker, just to recap, we have Cortland Sutton, who I think is being underdrafted. He got paid. He's with Bo Nix. Sean Payton had some glowing things to say about Bo Nix today that said he's going to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback in the league in at least 2 years. So I think he's a steal right now. Sam Laporta, again, goes to that 308 pick. Then we have DJ Moore, who I like a lot, getting some running back picks. And then Matt is up with back-to-backs. He took his first one. Alvin Kamara, who I hope gets traded so the ghost of Keandre Miller can get some tote, but who knows?
Who are you? What is that? When have you ever been a Keandre Miller fan? And
I just want to see him.
I think a professional football team has seen him and still said no.
Nah, he just had a terrible head coach. Let's be real about this.
Okay.
And then, so Matt goes Kamara, and then George Pickens, and then we have another tight end off board, which is one of my favorite values, Travis Kelce in the 6th round, the beginning of the 6th round, which I think is pretty good value. And then I Am Newts is up again, so it'll be interesting to see what he does.
So I'm surprised you guys didn't ask like Kamara and Pickens, and I just think Kamara is the only show in town for
100%.
New Orleans, so he's going to get a ton of touches. The main thing is him just staying healthy. And
Every
then
one of
Pickens,
those quarterbacks is going to be checked down Charlie, whoever it is.
Yes, whoever it is. And Pickens, we already alluded to it. They don't really have a running game for Dallas. It's going to be airmail all the day long. And if Parsons is traded, even more so, right? I don't think he will, but I really like Pickens. I'm really hopeful he'll turn it around. I think he's going to get fed. If you look at the route trees from Lamb to Pickens, they literally complement each other. Lamb's over the middle, George is sideline
Over the top, baby.
So it is incredible how they've done. And we talked about him, the tight end too, which somebody will draft him. But we'll talk about when it happens. But I do like this Dallas offense. It's going to be airmail all season long. So that's why I went that way.
And in classic fashion, just like when you hype up a kicker who has an easy kick, one thing he has to do and he can win the game. And as soon as the announcers start talking about it, he shanks it. That's how I feel about Newt's team right now. We were hyping him up. Some great wide receivers to choose from. Zay Flowers, Devonta Smith. I thought Tet could have been really good there, And and then you hype him up, and he shanks the field goal. No offense, Matt, to your Bears, but I just feel like there were better values on the board.
We don't know who's going to be the guy for the Bears. We really don't. They have tons of offensive weapons, so it's a good gamble. I mean, DJ Moore went 3 picks prior. You're like, okay, we don't know. You know, Colston's out there. Who are they going to do with the run game? We don't know. So there's plenty of options. We just don't know. I don't mind the gamble. I would think I would rather had Devontae Smith, and I'll be honest, I think I would rather had RJ Harvey there to round out my running back situation there. And he's good with Barkley and Williams, but I like Harvey as a flex here. I think he's going to be the joker there, and as much as we disagreed on that yesterday, but I like RJ Harvey a lot. Travion Henderson goes, outstanding pick. I think Cody was sneaking in the woods to get that. That is a great pick there at the 6'4". It's probably who Chance wanted, actually, but I really like that pick.
It is who I wanted there. I really like Travion Henderson. I think he's gonna be good, and if I'm not careful, I'm gonna end up having to choose which Joker from Denver I want.
Yeah, I'm definitely not picking him. So
yeah, good news. The 2 positions that I'm here for, you're not in any sort of range to snipe either from me. I just gotta make the choice.
I also think this is good value here for Patrick Mahomes, and he has not gone off yet. I'm just going to say it, but we're 6th round, which is probably close to 5th round in 12-man. So I like Patty Mahomes here. He's good value. He's getting a little bit under the radar, like disrespected a little bit. I'm sure he'll go now, but I like Patrick Mahomes here, and really Joe Burrow has not gone off the board either.
I was like, should I pick Joe right now? And I'm just like, no, I'm going to wait.
It wouldn't have been a bad pick. It would have been a great. He would have made your team awesome.
I think the biggest thing is, like, if I do pick a wide receiver those first 2 rounds, I'm like, I'm just going to target that quarterback. I love stacks. That's just how I am. I'm going to try and get Dak in like the 10th round. I don't really care because it's a mock.
Yeah, that
was my plan last time. I think Dak is that dude. If Dak goes, I'll just pivot off of him. So I was between Dak, Ted. I looked at Travis Hunter and Jalen Waddle a little bit, but those were kind of where I went through. I was like, man, Ted's gonna catch 90 balls. I mean, he's the guy. Everything in camp, he is just getting glowing reviews. So
he's 90 balls. He should have 10 touchdowns, 10 to 11 touchdowns, right? That's what he should be, which will be really, really high. Here's the thing. I want to talk about the stack because you brought it up as people are drafting here. Never, ever force a stack. Don't force it. Don't reach for it. Kind of let it come to you. A lot of people want to chase stacks. With CeeDee Lamb and London, all we have done is preach like these 2 guys could be number 1 wide receiver. Well, who's throwing them the ball? Well, Penix and right? You're like, okay, well, shoot. I don't have to reach for a quarterback. And that's really what Justin's doing. I'm going to wait. He might be able to get both of these quarterbacks. And you're like, wow, okay, you're in really good shape. If you think London's going to be the number 1 wide receiver, what do you think Penix is going to be? So you have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind.
So after I took T-Mac, Chance goes that homer pick. I mean, we all got to have our homer pick.
Hey, I want you to know, I picked RJ Harvey so that as a Broncos fan, at the end of draft season, I can say, I'm not stuck saying I had 0 exposure to RJ Harvey. Now I got him in 1 mock, guys. Don't worry. I picked him up once in 1 place.
Yep. And then I think probably the 2 most volatile wide receivers I think can go anywhere from the 4th round to the 7th round or 8th round in Xavier Worthy and Jameson Williams. I have literally no idea what either of these 2 do. Chance put this onto me last year. It's like the Chiefs don't know how to draft wide receivers. But if Rice is out, Worthy should jump quite a bit. And the Jameson Williams stuff coming out of training camp, it's like he's that guy. He's fully recovered from that big ACL at Alabama. He's finally getting the offense, all that stuff. So those 2 guys are very big, like high variance players that scare the absolute crap out of me. If you're playing best ball, I think those 2 guys are really good picks. And then after that, I think a really big bargain from Team 9 is Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Team 9, it's one of those things where every once in a while I'll see somebody like Team 9 draft. and I'll say to myself, why didn't I auto pick? You know, because they're our auto pick team, and they're just picking ADP, and they come off with a team now. I say that, and they have both Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. They are really banking on Matt Stafford.
Yeah,
But
100%.
you know, like you could switch a couple of those up and be like, man, that's if they had Puka and DK Metcalf, if it was a real drafter, you know, if it was Puka, CMC, JT, Brees Hall, DK, who was next available for them after Devontae Adams, and Joe Burrow, I'd say, man, I really like that team.
So after Joe Burrow, we have Zay Flowers, Joe Mixon, who I just don't know if he's going to play. It scares me a lot. They're talking up Woody Marks a lot. They're saying Nick Chubb lost a step. After that, we got Hawkinson, who is basically a clone of Sam Laporta, it feels like. And then Isaiah Pacheco, the guy catching 50-yard deep balls from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, again, I do like G-Mall's team here. Not big on the JMO pick, but I do like the Pacheco pick. So good makeup there, G-Mall. I like it. Good job.
See, and this is where I get to where I now regret having gone so wide receiver heavy, because I get a look at these running backs in this tier, and it's David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Brian
Take
Robinson,
Judkins, you coward. Take him. Take him, you coward.
Tyrone Tracy, Jalen Warren. Like there are some guys that you're like, you know, could Travis Etienne be the guy in Jacksonville? He could be, but he's not a sexy pick. He's not sexy. There's a whole lot of real bread and butter unsexy picks here, and I think I'm going to go that way with what I've got. I still believe in David Montgomery's abilities. I still believe that he owns a role in that Lions offense. And even though I'm down on Lions across the board this year, I still think they like David Montgomery, and he's going to get his when he's healthy.
I think he could still be a 10 touchdown guy. I do. He's different. There's a lot of like, Gibbs and Montgomery. They share carries, this, that, and the other. I'm like, they're two different backs, guys. Mm-hmm. Stop trying to have them be the same and they're stealing carries. They really are two different backs. I think Gibbs is going to be a PPR monster, and Montgomery will get his carries and easily. I really do think he can get 10 touchdowns. So we'll see how it plays out. I do love the Johnson pick here, Justin. Great pick from your end. I like that pick a lot.
My thoughts about this, chance to kind of double down on it. The running backs are hard. So I kind of went down the board there a little bit. There's 3 wide receivers. One just went in Devonta Smith that I really like on the board. I like Travis. I like Jalen Waddle a lot. So I'm hoping that I can get one of those guys on the back end. Just what you guys like. As you guys are watching this, like that's my overall thinking. Like if Chance or Matt takes both those guys, it is what it is. Obviously, I wouldn't talk during a real draft like what I'm thinking, but that was my pick. At running back, I was like, all of this is gross. So I'm going to pick the guy that I have the most faith in. They called Caleb Johnson inhumane to the defense. That was the word which I love when he was running on Pittsburgh's defense during training camp. So it'll be interesting to see what he is. I have 2 rookie running backs, Ken Walker, so we'll kind of see how it goes from there.
I just think Caleb's they're going to feed him, overdo it. I just think that's what's going to happen. He's going to get a ton of carries, especially, and if he is good early on, they're just going to continue to feed him, right? And then we get the play action over the top.
I think Caleb Johnson is the biggest bust this year. Ooh. I think he is going to be a huge bust.
We lost you again.
There goes his mic. I can't wait for his take about Caleb Johnson. But I think he is a very much big dart throw for me. I didn't take him in a lot of dynasty stuff because he did scare me a teeny tiny bit. But here we're in the 7th round. I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think the only team he fits with was with the Steelers. He could have not landed in a better spot. Any other team, I think he's a bust for sure. But I for some reason like him there.
There we go.
All right, Chance, let's hear it.
There you are.
I just one, I was never on Caleb Johnson as a prospect. In all of my scouting, he was a guy that I just didn't love him. And I'm not a professional scout by any means, not a Caleb Johnson fan. And as dynamic as he has appeared in training camp, the one thing that I've heard over and over again that he's struggled in has been pass protection.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah, man.
no way Aaron Rodgers says, yeah, put the back out there that can't protect me. And so I think it's going to be really hard for him to get going if he continues to struggle with pass protection. So, I think there's every possibility that Caleb Johnson is Trey Benson last year or Kalen Ballage from a couple years ago. They're just a guy who can't get on the field because he can't pass protect, and all of that athletic ability doesn't meet the field. I'm go out on him, but that's why I'm doing this podcast with you guys, because the joy of different opinions.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you, but I think that's why Warren is there. Mm-hmm. Warren's going to be your third down back. I am not saying anywhere that Caleb Johnson's a 3 down back. I just think he's going to be that early work. They'll scheme him some stuff where he makes it simple, block this guy type stuff. But in general, I think he just fits that offense very, very well. So we'll see. I may be wrong. You may be wrong, but that's the beauty of it. Chance, you nailed it. We get to throw out ideas and go, oh, that makes sense. So.
Yep. So just kind of recap. So Devonta Smith is one of the guys I wanted. He goes right after my pick. Then Jordan Addison, again, expect at least a 3-game suspension out of him. Jerry Jeudy, a really good pick, should be the one in Cleveland. Then Matt takes one of the guys that I wanted, and Travis Hunter, and stacks him with Debo. Then we have Jacoby Myers, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, and then I get the last guy in that tier that I liked in Jalen Waddle.
It's a great pick.
And then chances up. Matt, can you tell us about why those two stuck out for you?
So I just really like both of them. I really feel, and this is so late for Hunter. I think Hunter could be a top 10 wide receiver. I really do. It wouldn't take that much. So, and especially after the reports today, he's going to be mostly offense, a little bit of defense. That confirmed it for me. And then just getting Debo. I like Debo, and I didn't force a stack here. It was a good fit. I needed another wide receiver that puts me the kind of where I want to be. And I'm like, all right, cool. I like it. So, I just liked what was better than what was available. So that just works for me.
I feel like Chance picked this guy just to spite my pick, and I love it.
No, so again, I'm glad you brought that up, because again, I'm looking at running backs right now, and I have to pick high upside guys, right? I have to pick guys that have higher upside in this range, right? Where it's Tony Pollard and Tyrone Tracy and Brian Robinson and Jalen Warren. And Caleb Johnson's, I don't have to worry about having to choose between that backfield. But I do think Jalen Warren, of those guys, has some of the highest upside for the as a pass catching back, right? And so when you get to some of these spots where you have to parse out, all of your RB1s are mostly taken. Everyone else is really in a split backfield. As I scroll through these, there's not a ton of guys that pop out like, oh my gosh, that's an RB1 that everyone forgets about. No. So you kind of got to make those picks of, is he going to get passing game work? I think Jalen Warren falls into that bucket right after we spoke about him.
Yeah. Chance, I look at your team, and I don't think it's all that bad. But there's one pick here I think completely changes your team. And you went JSN there at the 3.5. And Kylan Williams was there at 3.8. You put him in there, your team looks very, very good. I think it changes your last 2 picks. And you're looking vastly different.
It absolutely does. And again, this is why I love doing mock drafts, right? Like that idea of saying, hey, we talked in the first 2 rounds about teams that didn't pick a wide receiver in the first couple of picks. And it's like, they're just going a little RB heavy. And then I look down and as I'm looking, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Jalen Waddle went in the 8th round. I could have had Jalen Warren as my flex guy and felt so okay with it, or my wide receiver 3 and felt so great about it. But now I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for running backs. Yeah. And it's a good lesson on maybe even though you have 3 wide receivers and a flex you have to fill out, wide receiver is definitely deeper this year and typically always, than running backs are. But I'll boost my team with this pick right here.
There you go. Hey, Wild Chances picking. I just want. Oh, there's a good pick. I want to thank everybody for watching today. Hey, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, helps out the channel, and you guys know all that business. We are just here to help you guys learn. It helps us learn. We're getting to draft with you guys all. It's so much fun to do this and have conversations. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Steven asked a great question. If you have questions, please ask. We want to hear them. We'll try to answer them the best we can. And again, we want you to win your leagues because bragging rights are what it's all about for sure. So, Justin, you want to go off and start where Chance picked? Actually, I'll let Chance talk about Warren in his pick. Why'd you go there? And then Justin could pick it up from there.
I went Warren here. I just feel like I needed a playmaker, somebody that I really like at tight end. And again, when I looked at my tight end options, I just couldn't look at that running back list any longer. And there are some good wide receivers available, but I needed tight end. And again, I'm not going to double up on a team by going Evan Ingram when I have RJ Harvey, Jonnu Smith. He shared with Pat Freiermuth. I just don't. David Njoku's hard for me because I just don't know anything about those quarterbacks yet. I just don't know who it's going to be. I do know that Tyler Warren is a really good tight end, and there's not a lot of mouths to feed in Tennessee. And so that to me was an easier pick with that upside. And it also makes my team feel sexier than had I picked Mark Andrews. But looks like Matt, also a big fan of Evan Ingram, was able to snag himself a dude.
All right, so I'll recap. I think the last time I left off was Chance's his first Warren pick. So Jalen Warren, then Brian Robinson, then Bo Nix, Chris Olave, Patrick Mahomes, Tony Pollard, Quentin Jenkins, Scattaboo. Matthew Golden was someone that I was targeting, I'll be honest. All the stuff at a camp, I'm like, he might be a guy. He's getting the work in the 2 wide receiver sets is what you want to see. Then Tyler Warren. So I pivoted off of Golden, go Pearsall, just trying to get number 1 wide receivers at this rate. He's the only able-bodied 49er wide receiver right now, so I'm going to take a bet on him. Then we have Mark Andrews, and then Khalil Shakir goes, Tyrone Tracy, and then Matt gets the other Joker, whoever it's going to be, and Evan Ingram.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn here this a little bit. So this is a little bit of a play for me, just trying to figure stuff out. But I'm like, okay, so I have Kittle, who I really, really like. I think Evan Ingram is also going to get a lot of targets. Chances spoke very, very highly of him now being in Denver. So I'm trying to figure out here, I'm a little bit light on running back, but there's still some running backs that I like later. I think I have a couple of options here that I want to go with my second quarterback, and it's probably a little bit early. But I know if I do that, I might even hurt some other teams here. But my question is, do I go Baker or Murray? And I think I'm going to roll with Baker.
Yeah, let's go.
And that way Chance can get Murray to get the stack if he wants him. But I like Baker. I like this setup. It does give me some flexibility if I do have an injury or something like that. I am completely set at quarterback for the rest of the year with 2 could be top 5 quarterbacks. And I don't think it hurts my team at all as far as just when I'm constructing, because there wasn't any really good running backs that I like there. ETN, I'm like, and then there wasn't much behind that. So I'm okay with that. And Najee, maybe, but I'm not at that spot.
Evan Ingram, Baker. Again, any team standing out to you guys as we wait on our second overall pick? There goes Kyler Murray. There goes Chance's stack. Tough. Any team sticking out to you guys as we enter the 10th round?
I really like your team, Lineberry.
I try.
I think it's a good one.
I'm only good in mock drafts.
I do think that the more I look at, I really like Team 7, Jim's team, with St. Brown, BTJ, Devon A. Chain, Josh Jacobs, and James Conner. Right, some real stable running backs. You know, his Worthy pick and his Ridley pick could both really pan out. Like, I like those dart throws that he's had at wide receiver. He's also one of the only teams who hasn't gone quarterback yet. Like, he's really pushed quarterback down the board. And that's okay, because I look at the quarterbacks available and I go, yeah, you could totally push quarterback and still pick up a fairly good quarterback this late into the draft and not sacrifice skill players. Well, I like that Josh Downs pick.
Yeah, I was really between him and Diggs. I am pretty off Jaden Reed right now, just because of the wide receiver set stuff that came out a little bit. Just to recap, start of the 10th round, we got Baker, then Kyler, to Jaden Reed, Stephon Diggs, and I went Josh Downs. He's been one of my guys. I've tried to trade for him everywhere in Dynasty. He's a PPR merchant, has some really good analytic stats. Again, I'm just trying to get number one wide receivers. I don't know if it's going to be him, Pity City, or A.D. Mitchell. We'll see what happens. And chance goes Travis Etienne. Let's hear it. Him or take Bigsby. Let's hear it. Let's hear why it's Travis.
I mean, I just think that Etienne at this point, right? Like, I'm still just reaching for guys who could be RB1 on their teams. And I think Travis Etienne still has that shot. I like Tank Bigsby a lot. I really liked him coming out of Auburn. But, I mean, Travis Etienne was the RB3 in fantasy 2 years ago.
Yep.
Right? Like, it was 2 years ago, he was the RB3, right? And you know, people are saying, oh, man, who's going to be the Bucky Irving in this new offense? Who's going to be that guy? Well, why couldn't it be Travis Etienne? You know what I mean? Like, everyone wants somebody younger or faster or more athletic, and it could just be Travis. And I think it's a coin flip. And to me, I'm going to go with the guy who's still besties with the quarterback.
So as I got to my pick, I there was some running backs that I really like at this tier, and they're all gross names, but I'm just like, man, I think they got a shot. So that's why I took wide receiver. Again, I only have 3 running backs right now, but I just like the upside of that. Holy crap, I love that pick.
Gosh,
those back-to-back picks.
I was hoping
really
that Emeka Egbuka would make it to me. I went ETN, or it was going to be Egbuka. And again, it's a great pick. I really like G Marl's team as it's building right now.
Yeah, so after Chance's pick of Travis Etienne, we have Brock Purdy, Njoku, who I'm super high on. Again, those back-to-back picks by G are really, really good. Then we have Chris Godwin, Jonnu Smith. You guys know how I feel about that situation. Cooper Kupp, Jawan Jennings, Abuka, love it. And then our boy from Idaho, Colston Loveland. And then Chance's backup.
Oh man, I'm so thrown. I was like, I'm gonna go running back and I'm gonna go wide receiver afterwards. And now I look at the wide receivers and I just go, what?
It's rough. It's a rough list for sure.
What am I doing here?
It's a rough list.
It is rough.
Any team stand out to you right now? While Chance is thinking about his pick.
No, I really like the Abuka pick. I was hoping he'd fall back to me. I'd get the easy stack, but again, I wouldn't have forced it. I could have gone Abuka back then. I think he's value at round 10, pretty easy. I think I really, really like him. I mean, he's getting more and more hype as we go, especially with Godwin might not even start, this year. So Loveland pick's good. I'm curious to see what the Bears do. But
okay,
I am a little surprised on the Purdy pick. I'm just not a big Purdy guy. I'm sure he's efficient and effective, but there's other quarterbacks that I like more so than Purdy.
If I just for Lineberry's sake, if I had to look at Lineberry, dang it, I was gonna rank running backs that I thought you were gonna take, and Jordan Mason was right there. I was gonna go Jordan Mason, Javonte Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Tajay Spears.
You know me pretty well. I think Charbonnet. I think the 3 guys I was in between, because those are the 3 guys. There's 3 guys that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get Josh Downs because Josh Downs is my guy, and I'm gonna pick one of these gross running backs to just back end on. So it was between Javonte because everybody knows I'm a Javonte truther. I really believe in him. Every report I get out of there is demeaning. I don't know what's gonna go on with Dallas. They scare the crap out of me. Zach Charbonnet, I was just gonna handcuff it and just take that backfield. And then Jordan Mason, I don't know if Aaron Jones is healthy. And they traded for him for a reason. He's 26. He was really good with San Francisco. I trust Kevin O'Connell. So those were kind of the Trump factors right there for me. So
I like the Zach Charbonnet pick there. He's stolen from me. That was going to be my next pick for sure. Again, if you combine Zach Charbonnet and
Ken Walker.
Walker last year, right? If you just merged them into one because they were both kind of injured or whatnot, they would have ranked, I think, in like the top 6, top 7 as running backs. So both are very, very capable. If for some reason Walker gets traded, Sharp is an easy plug and play, and especially this late could be a league winner.
Correct. Tell us about Jaden Higgins, Chance.
At that pick, I was just looking at some of the receivers that were available, and Brandon Ayuk was there. A lot of them are still there because it's not a great spot. Brandon Ayuk, Darnell Mooney, Michael Pittman, Keon Coleman, and Rashid Shaheed. I really believe in the bounce back that CJ Stroud's going to have this year. And so to me, I really like Jaden Higgins. I think that him on the other side of Nico Collins, which never let anyone hear this podcast where Nico Collins is a dog. He is a really good wide receiver. That guy, I don't know. He's a dog.
He's wide receiver 1, just so we're clear.
Okay.
Last year he was wide receiver 1 through 8 weeks. He was that guy.
Yeah. Who's more wide receiver 1, Nico Collins or Drake London?
Nico's done it.
Okay. But anyways, I think that because of Nico Collins' ascendance, I think that you're going to get a lot more teams that are going to double him or bring a safety over the top, and I think he's going to face a lot stiffer secondaries this year, which will, to me, open up a lot more for Higgins to really be effective in that offense.
So after Jordan Mason, we have Charbonnet, who Matt talked about. Then Ayuk. Garendo goes, which again, probably Chance said at the very beginning of the pod, he's probably the best handcuff that we have in football. Then we have Najee Harris, Keon Coleman, who I think is a really good bet, late round flyer, and then Tajay Spear goes.
I like Tajay. I don't know who it is going to be, if it's going to be Tony Pollard or if it's going to be Tajay Spears, but I'm going to have some exposure to that Tennessee backfield this year in a couple of my drafts because I think one of them is going to be really good. And Tony Pollard's been good in the league before. I really like Tajay Spears. I'm a little afraid that he doesn't have an MCL in either leg, something silly like that. I don't think he has ACLs in either leg. That boy's got rubber band legs, but he's a good running back. So I think that taking your shot on one of those Tennessee running backs isn't a bad idea.
Matt, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to talk about Najee Harris. The only reason I selected Najee Harris is because of the value there, right? It's getting later in the rounds, and I know he's on a 1-year contract, and I know he's got an eye injury, but it's not going to hurt me. I need a running back that's probably going to get some work. If he doesn't get it, okay, not a big deal. You can drop him. This happens a lot in fantasy football. These late round guys that you're taking shots on, you can draft them, and if you don't like them, you drop them, get somebody off of free agency. So just keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to go, you know what, there might be some upside here. I'll take a shot on this person. So happens all the time.
Ooh, nice with the Dobbins pick.
There's so many gross running backs, and I'm like, I just want to have them to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I was between him and Javonte. Tank Bigsby are all really good guys.
Yeah.
That's where I went. So
now, there was a part of me that said, why don't I just lock up the Denver backfield and see who does well where and when? he was definitely on my short list of guys to go after. So, I mean, thanks, I guess, for taking that off. I do always feel as we get down to these later rounds, you know, especially just with the way it is, it's a lot of like, hey, shoot your shot, right? Shoot your shot on guys. I like the joy of fantasy football when you hit on a guy. And so if you got a guy you like in these last couple of rounds, part of me goes, go get that guy. Screw ADP. Go get your guys.
It's really funny, Chance, because if you do hit on a guy, do you know how many trade offers you get?
Oh yeah.
When your guy hits, everybody's trying to get your guy because you spend him a 13th, 14th round pick, and he hits, and you're like, all of a sudden, trade offers are coming. It's pretty funny.
So just to recap off of that Keon Coleman pick that Matt ended or started off the 12th round, we have Tajee, Tucker Kraft, Justin Herbert, JK, Chance takes Drake May, who I absolutely love this year. I'm so excited to watch him ball out. All those second-year quarterbacks, I'm just excited to watch them play. So that's his. Is that your second quarterback?
Chance? That is my second quarterback. Yep.
You got Drake May and Jalen Hurts. So really good quarterback room. Then Justin Fields comes off the board. I know a lot of people in the fantasy community are pretty high on him. I'm still pretty out on him. Then we have Darnell Mooney, who should be back for week 1.
Yeah,
he's dealing with the shoulder.
I wanted a little update on Darnell Mooney from you because I know that, and I'm bad. I get Darnell Mooney and Jordan Addison in my mind mixed up all the time. I don't know why, but I know Jordan Addison is facing suspension, and then Darnell Mooney does have an injury. Is that right?
Yeah. So he just. I don't know. I'm assuming it was the AC joint, and Chance being a wrestler probably knows how AC joints are. They're just naggy. They said they're just going to hold him out. They're just trying to be precautious. He was really, really good for us last year. So I think it's good. A lot of other guys like Nick Nash, who Matt is high on, Casey Washington are getting a lot of looks in camp, which is nice for those young guys to do that. I wish Penix would be able to build that rapport with Mooney because Mooney was really good. He should have had 1,000 yards. He was at 992 last year. But I think he'll be good to go. Again, we have enough receivers that I think we'll be fine either way. But I think, again, he'll be ready for week 1.
I'm going to pick. So I'm excited, again, with these last two picks, right? I was doing a hard scroll to see who's at the bottom of the barrel of some of these. And I found, to me, a week 1 starting running back that I'm probably too chicken to take in any of my real mocks. But I maybe not. But I hope Jim's not listening. Let's see. I don't want to tease it too much. Jim's the kind of guy.
Say it, Chance.
I've known Jim a long time.
Own it.
I think Dylan Sampson is going to be the starting running back for the Browns.
Really? Over 4.
Over 4.
Is it Sampson victim weight?
Samson is victim weight. He reminds me a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs with how he played at Tennessee. And again, I know Lineberry, you're a VWB, man. Those victim weight bros. Okay. And you're all about your victim weight running backs. A-Chain, all of them. Dylan Sampson should be right up your alley. You should absolutely love him.
Yeah, he's not.
And I just think that Jerome Ford has shown the Browns what they have, what he has. I think Dylan Sampson, especially with the Judkins stuff up in the air, could totally be a starting running back come week 1. He's a guy I'm going to monitor a lot in the preseason.
No need to monitor. He will be. Yeah, if you're high on him, go get him. I really do like him a lot as well, Chance. He is going to ball out. I like him a lot.
I try to avoid, just in general, as a guy who watches college ball, I try to avoid Tennessee players. I don't think Tennessee has a system that translates well to the NFL. I say that, and in the same breath, I look at Alvin Kamara, who came out of Tennessee and lit up the NFL and has done it for years and years and years and years. I'm not saying Dylan Sampson is Alvin Kamara, but they've put out enough bad professional athletes. They got to hit again at some point. Tennessee does. They got to. Where you at in your head here, Lineberry? Your second to last pick.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm down in the dirt right now. That's for sure. I'm in the mud. That's for sure.
I think Prescott might have been your pick here.
Yeah, Prescott pick pissed me off. I'm kind of mad about it. I'm super salty because that was like the cherry on top that my team was going to be. But I'm just probably gonna. I don't know why this guy goes undrafted. I think he's a good player. I'm gonna take him. I think there's a few running backs that I think deserve to get picked, like a Ray Davis. I think he needs to get picked. I think Jerome Ford is the real running back for Cleveland. He's just so consistent. Roshan Johnson's there. Again, I'm down in the dirt at like 185 right now.
Wow.
And there's two receivers that I'm just like, I don't know how they don't get drafted every time. And it's Wendell Robinson and it's Romeo Doubs.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Why don't they get picked?
So I want you bring up a good point, Justin. So remember, we are in a 10-man league, right? So you're missing a whole bunch of extra picks here. So you're going to see a lot of players that are still available that you like here in the 13th round. So a lot of times you'll go 16, 18 rounds. So, but like the Dobbs pick, good pick.
They're just good. Wendell was I think Wendell was on pace for like 130 targets. It was something ridiculous, but he's a good player. But
I do want to talk about this pick that Cody just talked about. I am high on Ferguson. He is going to be their number 3. One injury from either Lamb or Pickens, and I brought it up last night. Ferguson's going to be a top 10 tight end. I like Ferguson. He's consistent. He's just quiet. I think he was 12 last year, 11, but I like Ferguson as a late round flyer. We can get him. You may have to get him a little bit sooner in 12-man leagues, but I like Ferguson. I think he's a crafty number 2 tight end, if not a late first round. So I like Ferguson a lot.
Lineberry, I hadn't realized that you haven't drafted a quarterback. How mad were you when I took Drake May?
Not bad.
I thought maybe he would be a late round.
That's usually my pivot, is because Dak usually goes before Drake, and those are the 2 guys that I target. Like at the very end of rounds, at the very end of drafts, there's probably 3 guys that I'm like, sweet. It's Drake, it's Dak, and if I take Drake, I usually pair him with another quarterback, and it's CJ Stroud. Those are the 3 guys that I know that I'm going to get for dirt cheap that are probably still going to finish as quarterback 15 through 8. Whatever it is.
So let me ask you, those 2 guys, Drake May, Dak Prescott, even CJ Stroud, I want you to compare them to Jordan Love, because I feel like Jordan Love is also severely underdrafted this season. When I think, even though we haven't really picked who his wide receiver 1's going to be, but I think he has so many weapons and a Matt LaFleur offense that I think all 3 of us would say we like that offense. Do you think that there is room for for Jordan Love to end up being a QB1, a top 12 QB this season?
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, his first year starting out right, or a couple years, he was like the QB5. He is very much in the format of Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy. They got to throw touchdowns. Like, they need 30 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, but Baker gives you a little bit of upside running the ball, I guess. I think the biggest denominator between CJ Stroud and Jordan Love for me is I think the Texans are going to throw the crap out of the ball.
They have to.
Their run game.
They're going to be playing from behind.
Their run game is a little scary. I think my 2 dark horse teams that I'm going to watch a lot of this year are the Houston Texans and the Denver Broncos, just because their defenses are nutty and they have very good young quarterbacks that I think are going to be fun to watch them sling the ball around. So I think that's why I'm a little biased towards CJ Stroud a little bit. So I think that's why I pivoted to him more than Jordan Love. But I mean, if CJ just get picked in these next 5 picks, I probably will pick Jordan Love.
I just think Jordan Love's in a division which to me is probably the second hardest division in football: AFC West, NFC North. And I just think that you look at the NFC North, and all of those teams are high potent offenses that you're going to have to me, it just makes sense that they're going to have to score to win games. And so I just think that Jordan Love is criminally undervalued in most drafts this year. And I hate saying that about a Green Bay Packer. Hate it.
And
100%.
I as much as I like Love, I like Caleb Williams better. I think that offense is going to be better, but I don't know.
And
it's close. Flip a coin.
To be super fair, Matt, you would. Okay.
It's fair. No, I'd be honest with you. I don't think there's really any difference in them right now, but I just like Caleb a little bit better.
I think about that in terms of fantasy, Matt, and I'll just talk about Caleb Williams compared to like Bo Nix right now, right? Like we have all this faith in Bo Nix to be fantasy relevant when, like we've already addressed, Bo Nix is on a team that has a really good defense. He could be capped in what he needs to score, where Caleb Williams has a high-flying offense with a coordinator who's supposed to be awesome and brilliant and all these things. There's definitely a world where Caleb Williams finishes higher in fantasy points than Bo Nix does because of garbage time or because of the makeup of the team or because of those things. And I hate saying that as a Broncos Nix truther, but his situation lends to that more so than a lot of other quarterbacks.
Yeah, and speaking of front runners, right? Cody really liking the fourth team, which is his team, so I had to throw that up there. So.
I can't believe he's that Broncos pick is awesome.
So
yeah, so I went Jordan Love again. He was really, really good. We started the year. He got hurt. He got banged up a little bit. He's just a consistent quarterback. That's all I really need. The stacks with Penix don't really excite me that much because I want to see Penix run just because I think he can, but I'm not going to bet on that. Oh, the Kyle Pitts.
You better start playing for those knees.
Love it. Thank you for picking Kyle Pitts. Such a great pick. I was really debating if I was going to do Kyle Pitts at my quarterback just to send it. Listen, if any year, if you're going to get Kyle Pitts in your last round, just take him. That's all I'm saying. Just take him.
I couldn't not. I couldn't not because it was my last pick.
He had a nasty touchdown today in training camp where he mossed two of our guys. I don't know if that's good for our defense because our defense is atrocious, but it was back of the end zone, nice layered throw. Holy, I was just like, uh-oh. Don't suck me back in. Don't tell me about a good time.
Don't do it to me again.
No, he's good.
Yeah, I'm going to respond to Cody because he said, sorry, Matt, Caleb is the worst since Jamarcus Russell. Yeah, I think that's going a little bit too far there, Cody. I will say he's had some struggles. The jury's still out. I do think the kid's very talented. Chicago, show me the last time Chicago actually mentored a quarterback.
They haven't ever.
I've been there since I've been a fan since in the early 80s. I'm dating myself. They haven't. It's never been that way. That city has 100% been defensive city. So, and as much as I love Walter Payton, the sweetness, but that was a defensive town. That just has been forever. So give Ben Johnson a chance. We'll see how it goes. I won't disagree with you that he could bust. I'm not going to say that, but I think it's a little bit too early to tell for sure. So.
All right, guys. Moment of truth. Who won this mock draft?
I was just looking at it, and I think, oh man, this is so much fun and so tough. I think I like Garrett's team the best. And
which one is Garrett?
G Marl. I like his team the best. If I could switch New York Giants running backs for him and go Tyrone Tracy over Cam Scatterboo, he'd have chef's kiss. But I would say I like Garrett's. Lineberry, I think you did an awesome job. I really like your draft. I also like Jim's team quite a bit. Jim Schmeitz.
That's probably who I was going to say. It was Jim's team. I just don't like the quarterbacks. I think that's my biggest thing. Is like, man, I do not like Purdy and I don't like Fields. Again, you got a lot of boom busts with Fields, and you got at least Steady Eddie and Brock Purdy. So
Yeah, I think Justin, for me, I like your team really well. I wish you would have taken a quarterback instead of Mason or Dobbins right there a little bit earlier. And I think I'm like, yeah, there you get it. So if you would have got, I mean, Prescott fell really low. I still like Penix a lot. I think you could have got him. Maybe you picked him up later. But if you were able to get Prescott a little in there and maybe Love or Penix, you're good. But I do like Jim's team as well and G-Mall's team. I do, I kind of go over to Cody's team. I like his team quite a bit too. I think it looks pretty solid. He's got really good running backs, and it'll all kind of depend on TreVeyon Henderson in my mind. But everything else looks solid on his team. So, but well done, you guys. I don't have a lot of complaints other than my team and the AI pick. We were probably at the very end, but everybody else did really, really well.
Oh, love it.
Well,
love a good mock draft.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and enjoying. Gosh, it was a blast for those that jumped in online and just did it a impromptu. It was cool. We're going to do that again where we can just get, if we don't have enough people, we'll propose it and go from there. Let me clean this up just a little bit.
So we got
any final words before we get out of here?
Got wide receivers on Sunday. I think those are running backs and wide receivers are always a fun episode because once you get after the top 15, top 18 picks, it's fun to see who our guys are at. So just kind of interesting to kind of pay attention to. We got games on Thursday and Friday, so hopefully nothing bad happens. Hopefully nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, this is hype train season, man. This is where you start watching those rookies, watch your rookie running backs, watch your rookie wide receivers, watch your undrafted guys, see who pops. Because there are going to be guys that pop this week that could win you your season. That's just how it is. Whether we've had plenty of examples of that in our Buckies and our Pukas and all these players. There will be guys that'll pop this week that'll be instrumental to your dynasty, but also your redraft leagues. So stay tuned into that this weekend. I'm here for 3 days worth of highlight videos to just drool over.
Years ago, I had an aha moment, and I'm gonna piggyback on what Chance says. We do all the time. We're hearing reports, maybe say a video here and there. A long time ago, and this is why I watch preseason games now. A long time ago, because I'm going to tell you the name here in just a second. I was watching a preseason game, and I went, "Oh my gosh, who is that?" I hadn't heard anything. Nobody said anything, and all I said to see was this kid just catching a ball or two, streaking down the sidelines. I'm like, I need to get him on my fantasy team. And it was Victor Cruz. Nobody had heard of him. Nobody knew who he was, and he won me a league just because I watched a preseason game. So just understand, you will pick up these little things, right? Like, who's that kid? Just by the eye test. So watch the games. It's so much fun.
In the head. It'll pay to be sick in the head and watch preseason week 1. I promise you, it'll pay off.
Yes, agreed.
And if you don't want to watch it, trust us to watch it for you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you guys, man, so much fun hanging out with you. We will do this again for sure. We have a little more time before we do some official drafts. Again, just like Justin said, we got running backs, we have wide receivers, we have some busts we're going to do. We're going to do some sleepers. Justin and Chance, Justin's been really good about doing some shorts. So make sure you're liking the button or liking the channel and subscribing to the channel. You're going to catch a lot. Turn on the notifications so when something new pops open, we're going to give you all our stuff, all of our trade secrets. So you're winning against the sheeple out there, right? Those people that don't pay attention. They just show up, day one with their cheat sheet from ESPN or whatnot, and you're going to be way, way, way ahead of them. So I guess from this time until next time, we will see you guys next time, and have a great evening, everybody.